Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. Today is September 25th, which means it's my favorite season, fall. I've got a cinnamon apple candle back there, smells amazing, and today's episode was really supposed to be talking about all the great upcoming events in the New York area this fall, but one of them I may have gone a little overboard with, and so that is going to dominate this episode. I'm going to have to talk about upcoming events separately. I had a little shame when getting ready to film this. I actually sent a message to Eric from the Sticks Plus Twine podcast, which you should check out if you haven't. He's awesome. And I said, so I need to film about the New York Yarn Crawl, but I got so much stuff. Oh, the shame. And he said, hey, just call it a yarn haul. So yeah, that's what this is going to be, a yarn haul. All right, so the New York City Yarn Crawl, it's actually still happening. Today's Sunday, but it started on Friday. And I went to 9 of the 10 participating stores yesterday with 4 friends from my meetup group. So I'm going to talk about the route that we took and what I picked up at each location. So the first stop was Annie & Company. They opened at 10. I think they were the earliest opening store, so it made sense to go there first. And I've also learned that they have the best sales, ridiculous sales. So you know, you tend to lose steam at the end of the day or maybe run out of money, but you definitely want to hit up one of the stores that you know you're going to make a lot of purchases at first, even though you do end up carrying them all day. Yarn's not so heavy, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, so Annie & Company, I got this whole bag of yarn. Now, okay, before anybody criticizes me, I just want to point out all the things I didn't buy. They had a trunk show of Wonderland yarns, which I love. They had, and they have those mini gradient skeins, those kits, and I'm a big sucker for kits of cute little skeins. It's just something that draws me in. They also had a trunk show of Yarn Over New York, which was somewhat new to me, and that was great too. And they had things like, they had Madeline Tosh Pashmina, which is usually about $30 a skein, for $10. So one of my friends picked up a sweater quantity of that. And I touched it, but I left it there. So what I actually picked up was a whole bunch of this Noro, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Kurion, this. And I had been thinking about wanting to make a blanket, either a log cabin blanket or maybe even like a mitered square, you know, one of the spins on a mitered square blanket, or something that involves a lot of color changing, basically, with the Noro, with the idea of not having any 2 skeins the same. So they, at Annie & Company, this is normally $9.50, I think. And they had all of the discontinued colors, which for me, that's perfect. I don't need to be able to get more of the same color in the future because I want them all to be different. $4 each. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to unpack my bag. I have 10 skeins. So I spent $40 on 10 skeins of this, which may actually be enough for the whole blanket. We'll see. I have to settle on a pattern. And I'm going to pull them out and show you the pretty colors. Okay, so the first one, this is color 220. Looks like that. And this one is 238. This one's kind of pastel. Oh, what's the number? 215. $258. Did I already say that? Oh, $283. Okay. Yeah, I had a hard time keeping track of not grabbing two the same because often the outside of the skein looks different. You can't tell just by looking at it. This is $2.29. $180. $217. $287. And what is this? $219. I'm still working on the lighting, and it's the first time I filmed during the day, but the windows are on the side of me, so I'm not sure that that's really helping. I think a little bit. I love this one. This one is $259. All right, so that is all I got at Annie and Company. And it immediately filled my the backpack I had brought with me. And then, okay, our next stop was String Yarns, which is, I think, like around 72nd Street in Lexington. You can obviously look up the address for them. And I didn't pick anything up from them, but they do have a lot of stuff that you don't see in other stores. So I would check out what they carry, and they might just have something you're looking for that you can't find elsewhere. Okay, so next was one of my favorites, aside from Annie's, which is Nitty City. And Nitty City, I met two really awesome people over there that I'm hoping to bring onto this channel. So I'm not going to talk about them now, but hopefully that will work out. Everybody was so sweet over there. We had a lot of great conversations, met a lot of people, and it was fun. And okay, so this is what happened at Nitty City. I had been for about a month telling myself I'm not doing the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along this year because I have 6 or 7 in progress Stephen West patterns in my apartment right now. I have a blanket that I need to get done by Christmas. I have a Penguono. I have half of a Pancini. I have the 3 shawls from the summer yarn along. And is that enough? I mean, there's probably something else I'm not thinking of. But I saw everybody else is doing it, and everybody that's doing Knit Stars, which is an online conference I am participating in, is talking about it. And I can't help it. I have to do it. So I bought the pattern last week, and I'm going to be in Europe when it starts, so I'm going to have to play catch up. But I saw this yarn, and I just thought it was going to be perfect for this Building Blocks Mystery Knit Along. It's hard to see the dark colors I find on here. Anyway. This is the Madeline Tosh Twist Light. I think that's what it's called. Yes. And the colors are Outlander. This is Outlander. And it's sparkly. And this one, Lolita. Yeah, Lolita. It's like, it looks a little more pink on the screen, I think. It's really more of like an orchidy purple. Undergrowth is kind of like an aqua, and Raspberry Cordial, which is like a deep dark purple with some blue to it. So, I mean, those are just perfect for this project, so I couldn't help it. And Nitty City was doing 10% off everything, but they were also punching our loyalty cards, which, you know, the cards with the hole punches, and then after you fill it up, which I did, you get 20% off your next purchase. So that will come in handy. Next, where did we go? Okay, Nitty City. We went downtown to School Products. And School Products has a lot of like European yarns that you don't really see elsewhere. And what I picked up there was this stuff. This is, I got a hair stuff to that. This is cotton. And I don't usually like to work with cotton, but one of my friends just had a baby, and she is super sensitive to any animal fibers, so I try not to use animal fibers for gifts for her. And I did already do a baby blanket and hat for her, but I really wanted to make a little sweater. It's a little boy, and he has a forest themed nursery with like true, not baby colors, but like forest colors. And so I thought this like green and tan combo would, not that he has to match his nursery, but I thought that they might like that. So that's going to be for a sweater, and that's Carabella mercerized cotton. Then we went to Pearl Soho. And Pearl Soho, they do something really nice for the yarn crawl, which is after you enter your information on the iPad for the crawl, for their raffle, they actually let you draw a little piece of paper out of a bowl for just everybody gets to do that. And I got a project bag. So you just pull out the piece of paper and it says what you won. So a lot of people will get project bags. I'm not really sure what the other prizes are, but it's really nice of them because they're giving something to every single person. And you know what? I really like their project bags because they're like, you can wear it like a backpack. And I like the drawstring. Okay. And I had been having a real problem with the color yellow yesterday. This is not normal for me. I'm normally just a pink and purple kind of person, but I kept seeing bright yellow things. Like at String, they had Loopy Mango, that really, really, really chunky yarn. They had that in a bright yellow, and I was just like staring at it, but I didn't buy it. So anyway, Pearl Soho does a sale off of their brand yarns during the yarn crawl, and I've used this before, and I may actually put these colors with the other colors that I currently have. Yeah, so I had to get some yellow. And then I got this gray to go with it. And I have an idea what I'm going to do with this, but I'm not 100% sure. There are some options. So this is the Worsted Twist Pearl Soho brand. And it's 100% merino wool, 164 yards. It's a 2-ply. I really like it. This pile on the right is really I'm afraid it's going to topple down any moment. Okay, so after Pearl Soho, by the way, it was a beautiful day, so I'm going to integrate hopefully some just like street shots I took, although they're shaky, because it was really nice weather. Down in the subway, it was hot and nasty, though. It was not great. But on the street, there was a nice breeze and everything. After Pearl Soho, we went to eat. And I say we, that it's the 5 of us from the meetup group, and we kind of started losing steam, and we ended up skipping our next store, which was supposed to be Seaport Yarns, and we went straight to Downtown Yarns. I didn't pick anything up there, but I did. I took a spinning class on Wednesday, and I have my second of the 2-part class this coming Wednesday. So I'm going to talk to you about that. I did get a basic spindle from them because it's good to have more than one spindle. And yeah, I'll talk about spinning after I have the next class. That's a really cute store. It's in a tiny space, but it's amazing how much stuff they can fit in there. And yeah, we were just kind of in a hurry at this point. We wanted to get out to Brooklyn before the Brooklyn stores closed. So we didn't do a whole lot of shopping at Downtown Yarns. And then our next store, we waited forever for the F train in that heat. It was so nasty. And then it finally came, and we went to Brooklyn General Store. And it was a little bit of a walk. It's like 0.7 of a mile to get there from the F train Carroll Street stop. But it was so beautiful. So yeah, I took video of that. I'll put it in right here, maybe. We'll see. So Brooklyn General they have a ton of stuff that I like. They have Brooklyn tweed yarns. They have Woolfolk. They have, typical stuff, Tosh and Malabrigo, and they've got some fabric. like a whole section for sewing. And they actually had a trunk show in the back of Magpie Fibers, which I don't know why, but I had not seen them yet in person. I had only followed them on Instagram. And so I was looking at the trunk show and I found this really cool teal in their swanky sock that I was going to pick up. But when I got to the register, I saw that they have a Brooklyn General like custom colorway called Farmhouse Kitchen. And I showed some restraint by putting back the other skein of the swanky sock and picking this one instead. This is what it looks like. It's like a pale gray, but kind of like a warm gray almost. It's not tan, it's definitely gray, but it's like leaning on the tan side of gray with like a mint green in there, and I think it's really cool. And I'm just a sucker for anything that's like a custom colorway or club colorway, something that's hard to get. I love that stuff. So this is what I got at Brooklyn General. And next was Argyle, and they are just the nicest people over there. I love that store. And unfortunately, these stores in Brooklyn are not super quick for me to get to, either from home or from work, since I live in Queens. So I only go once or twice a year. But when I do go, I'm always really pleased with what they have. So at Argyle, this is what I picked up. I just told you I took a spinning class. I have tons of undyed fiber that needs to be spun that I picked up at my first Rhinebeck when I thought I was going to spin and dye everything myself. But this is Malabrigo fiber in the color, what is the color? Wales Road 247. I just thought this was really going to inspire me to try to get good at drop spindle so I can spin this beautiful fiber. And then we lost three of our people from our group, but two of us trekked on and went to Slip Stitch Needlecraft. Now, I had not even heard of them, and I asked how long they've been open. I guess they've been open only about a year, so somehow I missed it. But this store is really cool, and it's the kind of place that, if it were closer to me, I would love to go hang out on the couch and knit and crochet with them. They cater a bit more to crochet than I think most other stores do, although most of the yarn stores do carry crochet hooks at least. This one in particular, I noticed half of the patterns that they had hung on the wall were actually crocheted items, which I feel is less popular lately. So if you're a crocheter, I think that would be a good place to check out. And what I picked up there is, what is this? Maypole DK. Now this is a polyester yarn. I'm thinking also for that same baby, that non-wool baby, of making something with this. Maybe the baby surprise jacket. I've been waiting to make one of those. And this, I believe, is a self-striping. So it would work well with that baby surprise pattern. And it's got gray, a little bit of olive green, orange into burgundy, kind of fall colors. So that is my yarn haul. And what else? Oh, one other thing. Nitty City is doing a coloring contest where you basically color their bag with Sharpies. So I'm going to have to do that because I like coloring a lot. And I may or may not have won a few competitions as a child, so I've got to see if I've still got it. This is the postcard or like advertisement card from Slip Stitch. They actually had a live spinner in the window. You know how sometimes in Manhattan they'll have live models in the window? They had someone with a spinning wheel spinning right in the window so that people on the street would be like, what is that? And come visit them, which was cool. And Jen and I, after Slip Stitch, we went and got dinner right across the street at this place called Angela's, and we had jerk chicken, and which I don't think I'd ever really had real jerk chicken before. And we had pineapple iced tea. It had mint in it. It was so good. It was so good, and it was so cheap. That place is awesome. If you go to Slip Stitch and it's mealtime, you should try that place. And it's super tiny. It's just got a few tables, but I don't know. I loved it. I would love to go back there. What else is there? Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about things coming up, I suppose, because actually it's only been 20 minutes of filming so far, and I thought it was going to take a lot longer to get through that yarn. So what is coming up? We've got, well, for me, I've got the spinning class on Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday, October 5th, that's when I'm going to leave with my mom for Europe, and we are landing or flying in and out of Milan, and we are spending 2 days in Rome and 2 days in Paris. So it's a short trip, but it's my mom's first time going to Europe at all. And I've only been once. I was in Milan for a week when I was singing, and I didn't really have the opportunity to be a full tourist at that time. So I'm very excited, and so is she. And I'm sure I'll share some pictures and video with you in the future about that trip. In addition to that, the Knit Stars conference that I mentioned, just Google Knit Stars. That is coming up, I think, October 7th or in the beginning or second week of October. I know it starts while I'm in Europe. It might be the 10th, something like that. And that's an online conference where some different sort of celebrity knitters are teaching classes, and I'm actually going to have access to those classes forever. So it's okay that I'm going to be away and not able to see them when they first come out, because I can watch them later. And I'm sure I will talk about that as well when the time comes. And then coming up very shortly, October 15th, I believe. Let me just check my calendar so I'm not giving you the wrong dates. Rhinebeck. So that is the Dutchess County Sheep and Wool Festival. And that's a big deal over here, and people travel. Okay, so Saturday is the day I'm going, October 15th, but it actually starts Friday evening, I believe, the 14th, and it also continues Sunday. Now, Rhinebeck is what inspired my first ever blog post, I think in 2012, so 4 years ago. And if you go to my website and go all the way back to the beginning, the blog post should still be there. Although I used to have my blog on Weebly, and I moved over to Squarespace, and I did have some issues with doing that. It was not an automatic process, so there's still some formatting problems that I'm gonna have to work on. So I apologize for that. But I think that post looks okay. So this is Rhinebeck is a great festival to go to, even if you just like fairs. If you're not even a knitter, like a lot of husbands, knitter husbands and kids and stuff will go because it's really fun for them too. You see all of the different breeds of sheep. There's goats, alpaca, llamas, and they have like sheepdog shows. They have fair food. Apple crisp is a big one for me, apple cider. And they have a whole like area with kitchen and food related things. They have wines, cheeses, like hand carved wood kitchen utensils. And then of course they have all of this yarn. Much of it is hand spun. They have fiber for spinning. They have some classes and some demonstrations. It's really awesome. It's a huge deal. I always bump into a lot of cool people when I'm there, and everybody's wearing something wonderful that they made. So if you haven't heard of Rhinebeck, but you've heard of the Rhinebeck sweater, that's what we're talking about. Because every year, oh, what are you wearing to Rhinebeck? What's your Rhinebeck sweater this year? People always kind of last minute have to make something special to wear to Rhinebeck. So that's coming up very soon. And I think that's it for today. I look forward to sharing some info about my spinning class and how that's going with the drop spindle. And And very shortly I'll be in Europe. So I don't know if I'll even have another episode before then. Maybe it won't be until after, and hopefully I can share that experience with you. So until then, happy knitting.